Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Ashana and I are welcoming you to our Wellness Summit. And today is such an extraordinary topic, ancient topic that literally has started from the moment of the creation. And Ashana is really an embodiment of this method. And she has brought lots of light, lots of transformation to people around the world with sound healing. So before we go into this topic, I actually wanted Ashana to introduce yourself to the public. Tell us, Ashana, like who you are, why you're doing this, what has inspired you to do this, and what you would like our audience to know about the sound that we do not know yet.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of questions all at once. I hope I remember them. well, I'm so grateful to be here, Nadia. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is Ashana. I am an artist, musician, crystal bowl artist, sound healing practitioner, recording artist, mentoring practitioner for my students who are all over the world in the art of applying crystalline sound with crystal singing bowls for healing in multiple applications for practitioners, for professionals, and for anyone who wants to work with healing sound for their own personal transformation, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I have been working with crystal singing bowls and am considered a world expert in the field of crystalline sound and crystal bowl playing, the art of crystal bowl playing. As a musician, I've recorded numerous albums. You can find them on all on the internet, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple Music, all of those places. And my music has been able to touch millions, literally millions of people around the world, for which I'm immensely grateful. I did not start out doing what I do. It gently evolved in my life in rather miraculous ways. I like to tell people I simply followed the breadcrumbs in front of me. And I went from one thing to the next thing. When the bowls came into my life, I knew what the next step was with them. And as my relationship with crystal singing bowls evolved, it absolutely deepened and moved into music. And from music, it moved into sound and vibrational healing. So I'm one of the few sound healing practitioners in the world that are at this level that actually combine the mastery as a professional musician and sound healer. And so that gives me a very unique perspective to work with people. I have many students who are energy healing practitioners and many students who are musicians. And each one of those types of professionals is is looking for the other. And it's wonderful for me to be able to bring those two sides together and unify them as a whole, because there are tremendous gifts that are energy healing practitioners, yoga teachers, meditation teachers, that they bring to sound healing and sound therapy. And there are many gifts that the musicians bring. And one of the things that I love to share with people is that in ancient Greece, it was actually the musicians that were considered physicians. And music was prescribed as an antidote, as a therapeutic modality to help patients recover from illnesses. They were sent to concerts to sit and listen and experience sound. So, one of the things, to answer your last question, one of the things that I want everybody to know is that sound healing is not new. Sound healing is as old as humanity. And we can trace sound healing back literally thousands of years for the time of the Egyptians and time of the Vedas in India, where sound was considered the original access point to divine consciousness. And it still is to this day. So, as Westerners in contemporary United America, North America, throughout the world, there's so many people now, they're going, oh my goodness, sound healing, it's amazing. And I just want you to know it's not new. It's been around for a long time. And for those of you that are finally tuning into this, know that there is a tremendous lineage of sound healing that is available to you now, literally at the touch of your fingers. For accessing that on the internet, accessing it live, therapeutic sound healing experiences are now literally almost on every street corner. And as Tanya and I were just talking before we hopped on, it's now even being welcomed in hospitals and places of more conventional healing environments. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to share with you in this conversation and answer any questions I can.
Thank you so much for this introduction. And really, as I was reading earlier, because I was always, since I got, since I was 5 years old, I always wanted to find the way to actually help human beings, animals like trees, mountains. What I saw needed a great harmony and the healing. I was hungry to find the modality that actually would work and was effective enough and created tangible results. So I literally was like a maniac jumping from one modality to another modality, um, uh, endless studies, endless certifications. So it's like that Pandora dog box that helps me with different modalities, as I apply to others, actually, for them to experience the great transformation. And especially, I was always attracted to the sound healing because there's something about this that makes your heart so peaceful, makes your heart joyful. It
Mm-hmm.
can also, like sad lyrics, can make your heart sad, bring up the emotions. So it's a very powerful instrument. And as even I'm reading on internet, it actually it says the therapeutic effects of the music. Since ancient times,
Mm-hmm.
music has been recognized for its therapeutic value.
Mm-hmm.
Greek physicians used flutes, lyres, and zithers to heal their patients. They used vibration to aid in digestion, treat mental disturbance, and induce sleep. So we may think that for those who do not resonate, how to heal illnesses or transform the challenges in health, relationships, finances, including mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual bodies. You may think that energy work, the vibration, the frequency work may not be enough to transform even the deepest chronic conditions, but actually it's not a secret that it has been used since the beginning of the creation. And it just now, it's almost like we're reawakening and reusing of what has been given to us as gift to naturally, with zero side effects, to bring the harmony in every aspect of our life. So Ashana, can you share with us like maybe one or two cases that really moved your heart, from how people with some challenges situations in life or maybe even in health has experienced very drastic transformation by you offering them sound healing?
I would have to say there are two that really jump out at me, and actually I wrote about these in a book that I just recently released called Crystal Singing Bowls. Um, and I specifically pulled these two stories out because it was such a dramatic transformation. But these aren't the only stories I have. Every time, pretty much every time I do some kind of sound healing experience with live as an event or as a concert, someone will come up to me and speak with me about what happened to them during that experience. So it's not unusual. But the two that really jump out at me, um, I was actually first starting out, and I was probably maybe 2 or 3 years of playing crystal singing bowls. And I was doing an event at the Santa Fe Community Yoga Center. I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico at the time. And I would host regular sound healing sessions with classic frosted crystal singing bowls. And we had a small gathering that evening, and I invited everybody to set intention. And one of the people that was there started speaking about his sister, and he wanted to bring his sister into prayerful awareness in the center of the sound circle. She was going through bladder cancer, and he was very concerned about her, and he wanted to send prayer. So we did that. We focused, we brought her in as part of a very intentional sound healing experience. And the next day, I got a phone call from him, and he shared with me that his sister called him the night before. And during the exact time that we were praying, and I use prayer as a synonym for intentional focus. Okay, so I'm not talking about it in any kind of religious context. So while we were holding intentional focus or prayerful focus for her, she passed a tumor in the toilet. It literally came right out of her. And she had no idea that anything was going on for her. She just called him in celebration to say, look, what I just want to share with you what just happened, how wonderful this is. And so this was somebody that didn't even know what was being done for her. And I thought for me, that was one of the first really miraculous experiences that I had had with crystal singing bowls. And the important thing to remember about this, frequency plus intention equals healing. So it's very important that we understand that when you take the intention out of it, your sound healing, your any kind of vibrational healing practices, their efficacy begins to diminish. So there has to be very focused intention involved. And one of the beauties of working with crystal singing bowls is because the nature of quartz crystal is to amplify and transmit energy. When you apply intention in the context of the vibration of playing crystal singing bowls, it is like putting that intention on steroids. So this is the beauty of doing that and working with sound in this particular way. Now, you asked for a couple of experiences, and another very astonishing and amazing experience that I had was not in a sound healing session, but I was doing a concert. And for me, concerts with crystal singing bowls were and continue to be always dynamic healing experiences and events. I never think of my concerts as just a whole bunch of songs tied together and having a wonderful time doing music. Although that there's truth to that, right? That's a content, that's a certain aspect of it. But the greater context of a concert is that it is a healing music concert. And we can have high energy in that. It can be exuberant and joyful. It can be contemplative and deep. It can be quiet and silent. You can have a flow of all of those elements inside of it. And this was up in Mount Shasta, and I was doing a concert there, a public concert, and a woman and her husband arrived to the concert, and she was in a wheelchair. And she shared with me before the concert that she had fractured, she had chronic pelvic fractures. So at the time of the concert, she had 11 pelvic fractures, and she was unable to walk. And this had been going on for years. And we did the concert, and after the concert, I saw her and her husband the next day. So the next morning, it was around 11 o'clock in the morning, my husband and I were out walking on the sidewalk, and we happened to run into this woman and her husband. She was standing, she was walking. She was not in a wheelchair anymore, and she was ecstatic. She hadn't walked. She rolled into the concert and walked out of the concert. So this is the power of working with sound and vibration. It can be miraculous. It can be, but we don't have to look for the miraculous in big experiences like that. A miraculous thing can be a shift in perception. A miraculous thing can be a release of emotion that has been held. And that emotion, I want to be really clear about this, that emotion can be joyous emotion, it can be laughter, it can be grief, it can be sobbing, it can be ecstasy, it can be bliss. So the, the sound and vibrational healing, sound healing is brilliant as an application for helping people move pranic energy, life force energy, to clear and help clear and balance some of the chakras from tremendous excess energy. And that excess energy can be happiness, it can be an excess of sadness, of depression, of mental anguish. It does this by assisting the quieting of the mind and bringing people into a deeply expansive state of awareness. So when we step out of the conditioned mind, and this is what sound does, and it doesn't matter whether it's tuning forks, whether it's didgeridoos, whether it's drums, whether it's flutes, whether it's therapy harp, like something like that sound here, whether it's vocalization and mantra. Once you start engaging with that vibration, and it's moving through your body, shakers, accordions, violins, that sound is helping our bodies on the physical level to literally come back into tune when it is sound that is intentionally applied for healing purposes.
Wow, it's very powerful. An hour, 26 minutes already went like a snap of a finger. I know. And, we can talk because we have so much passion about healing, transformation, sounds, higher frequency and vibration. I mean, Ashana and I'm sure, can talk about it for weeks and years and never get tired of it. So, by saying that, I invite you to open your heart and soul for your possibility to transform whatever needs the transformation in your life. It could be your health, it could be your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual aspect of it. It could be a relationship that needs more harmony, or maybe the finances that are now singing the romances and they need to have more flourishing and more abundance. So, whatever your challenge is, I invite you to actually join for the next segment and just fully relax and make your intention of what type of the transformation you would like to experience. And who knows what is going to happen at the end, where you will be fully merged into this paradise of the healing sound that Ashana specifically created for you. So please enjoy, relax, and I wish you to become and remain happy and healthy always.